What's up, everybody? Guess who it is? Back at ya once again, Matt Schaefer. And I don't know if you can tell, but I have, for the first time since the beginning of last month, I have fully regained my voice. Hallelujah. Seriously, guys, you have no idea how good it feels to be pretty close to 100% back in control of my voice. What's up, Michael Andrew Kessel? It's good to see you. Joshua T. Berglund, how's it going, buddy? So great to see you as well, my friend. Everybody jumping on, give me a 1. Let me know you're excited to be here. I'm so excited to have y'all back with me. Melissa Benedetti is here. How you doing, Melissa Benedetti? One of my beautiful coaching clients, Melissa, here on the show with me. Sarah Angeletti, another beautiful Italian name and beautiful friend of mine as well. What's up, Sarah? Good to see you, my dear. I am so excited to be with you here again. I say that every week, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'm less excited than other times. I'm really excited today because I am back. The voice is back. Raspy, froggy Matt is buried, at least for the time being. So I'm excited to bring you my full octave range for the first time in a month. What's up? So yeah, guys, my name is Matt Schaefer. Hannah Elizabeth, how you doing, girl? Good to see you guys. Welcome to everybody who's jumping on, guys. My name is Matt Schaefer. I am a transformational speaker and coach. I am obsessed with supporting people and making shift happen in their lives, helping them become empowered and create the change that they want, to create the life that they want, to create the results that they want. Because honestly, me doing this work has saved my life. Truly, me doing inner work saved my life at a very fundamental level, and so I committed the rest of my life to sharing what I've learned and what I'm learning with the world and with other people. That's what I am committed to. Out of my mind. Ria Benton, how you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you. Good to see you. Guys, to everybody who's jumping on, I'm so happy to have you here. If this stuff resonates with you, for everybody watching live or watching on the replay, please share this stuff. Let's get this information out to as many humans as possible. That is what I am all about, and that is what I know y'all are all about too, or you wouldn't be here watching me, guys. So yeah, my name is Matt Schaefer. I'm a coach and a speaker, and this is my show, Mondays with Matt, my weekly show on personal development, transformation, emotional intelligence, spirituality. I basically go wherever I want with it and wherever you guys take it with me. One of the unique things about this show, guys, is that it is interactive. Ria Benton, how are you doing, my dear? So good to see you. What's going on tonight? Guys, this show is actually interactive. I love talking to you. I love hearing what you have to say. I love getting your feedback, getting your opinions on stuff, and I co-create this show with you. So I invite you to call me out, respond to what I'm asking, respond to what I'm saying, and let's make this a co-creative experience. Sound good? That is what I am all about every week, coming to you Monday live on Mondays with Matt, guys. And this show is particularly important to me because I see it happening a lot out there. I see it happening a lot in the leadership. I see it happening a lot in personal development. I see it happening a lot just out there in the work, right? It's the concept of the egoic echo chamber. Okay, the concept of the echo chamber, right? So when I say the word echo chamber, what comes to mind? What's up, Paige? Good to see you, my dear. When I'm talking about an echo chamber, what do you think I mean when I say that? Pistachio Jenkins, that's an interesting name. Pistachio, eh? I love it. What's your cute necklace say? Oh, this necklace, guys, this is the Sri Yantra. This is the sacred geometry symbol of creation and manifestation. It also represents the balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. So for me, it's all about me being conscious of my energy and me being conscious that I am here to create and manifest. And it's seated in turquoise, which is the crystal that's associated with the throat chakra. So this necklace is my continual reminder that it is my responsibility to be continually creating with the power of my voice. And so every time I look at this, I'm reminded of that, right? And I get to check in with myself and reconnect to the fact that from my voice, from my heart, from what I have to say and share, that's like the seat of my power that I get to create from in the world, you know? Because for so long, I didn't think that my voice mattered. And I didn't think that my voice had the power to change my own life, much less change the life of anybody else, right? And those feelings will still come up. I'll still have moments in my life when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to go out and make a difference for people right now? Like, who's actually gonna listen to me, right? That egoic voice will still flare up from time to time, on a regular basis. And I, every day, am out there in the world talking to people, talking to strangers. And this necklace is my continual, I wear it every single workshop I do. I wear it every single time I take a stage. I wear it every single time I get online and do this show, because this necklace is my continual reminder that my voice matters and it has the power to create change in the world. Mine does, and yours does too. Allow me to be that reminder for you. Allow me to be the reminder to you that your voice matters, that you have the power to create change in the world, both in your own world and in the world of those around you. And in order for us to do that, guys, in order to be the change that we want to be in the world, in order to make the difference that we want to make out there, we have to be very deeply conscious and careful about a very specific phenomenon out there, okay? The ego echo chamber. When I say the term ego chamber or echo chamber, guys, you guys kind of know what that term means, right? What do you think of when I say the term echo chamber? Right? Because that term has a very specific connotation, and it means a very specific thing out there in the world. What's an echo chamber? Do y'all know? Or what's your understanding of what that term means? Take a second, think about it. What's up, Sincholi Arjun? Good to see you. What's up, my man or woman or I think man. Sincholi, what's up, man? Good to see you. So yeah, Pistachio, I hope that answered your question about my necklace. Hi, Alev, good to see you, my dear. What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Paige says talking to oneself. Okay, Paige, and in a manner of speaking, an echo chamber is talking to yourself. Because think about it, guys. What is an echo? An echo is when we say something, right? And then it just bounces back to us and we hear our voice back to us. Okay, so when we put ourselves in an echo chamber, what we're doing is we're putting ourselves in a space where all we're hearing back is our own voice, is our own opinion. Okay, so an echo chamber, guys, in the sense in which I mean it, is when we surround ourselves with people and opinions and viewpoints and energy that's just like us. Right? It's surrounding ourselves with people who are going to validate, our point of view. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily wrong. I think it's human nature for us to want to be around people who agree with us, right? It's human nature to want to be surrounded by people who are on our wavelength, who agree with what we're saying. But here's where we got to be careful, guys, is that we got to be careful about avoiding the egoic echo chamber. Because if we are continually surrounding ourselves with people that are a reflection of our egoic voice, of our egoic self, and I think that the ego is very keen on doing this, guys. Because what is your ego, right? Your ego is that portion of your consciousness that is defining you by who you've been, right? Who you are, right? Your ego is continually fighting to stop you from growing, to stop you from evolving, to stop you from becoming more and greater and different, because your ego has defined you by your past. Your ego has defined you by your past decisions, your past stories, your past wounds, right? Your ego is that part of yourself that is constantly trying to box you in and limit you. So I think what our egos do, and when we're operating from ego, a lot of times what we'll do is we will pick and choose and select people to reinforce, our egoic understanding of who we are. Because what does that do? What do we do? If we surround ourselves with people who are validating the person that we are right now, that's going to be a really effective tool to stop us from growing, to stop us from evolving. Because if we're surrounded by people who are saying, dude, you're fine just the way you are, then what happens? Maybe we believe them, right? So I want you to look at yourself, and I want you to look at the people that are around you, and I want you to ask yourself, who are these people a reflection of? I can tell I just landed something with Melissa right there, because she just went, ugh. So give me a 1 if you can relate to this, guys. Give me a 1 if you are now or have in the past in your life surrounded yourself with people who are validating, your egoic self. Maybe validating your bad decisions. How many of you have a friend, maybe one friend, maybe more than one friend, who are enablers, who validate you when you make self-destructive life decisions? How common is that? How fun is it in like a sort of like sick way, right? To be around people who validate when you make mistakes. They make you feel better about the fact that you're being selfish, right? Or that you're being hurtful to others. Or that, there are people that let you off the hook, right? They don't stand for you. I find that when you're in an ego echo chamber, no one is gonna stand for you and give you interruptive feedback, right? People are gonna just be like, oh, you're fine. You don't have to do anything. What you did was okay. It's not a big deal. They're always letting you off the hook. They're always making excuses for you because all they want is for you to feel better about where your life is at right now. Because here's the thing, guys. When you're in an egoic echo chamber, those people around you, they don't want to change either. And so they're not going to stand for you. They're not going to be powerful mirrors for you. They're not going to work to help you become a better person, because if they were to stand for you, it would mean probably that they would have to get better too, right? That they would have to grow. And that's at the end of the day what they want. They don't want to grow. And guys, these are dangerous friends to have, because these are friends that are not operating with your best interests at heart. They're operating with their own best interests at heart, right? It's like a crab in the bucket sort of thing, like they don't want anybody to get out. Because if a crab gets out of the bucket, then it demonstrates that it's possible to get out of the bucket, and that threatens their worldview, guys. So I know a lot of people in my life, people that I've known in my life, who spend their entire lives just surrounding themselves with people who validate and reinforce their own shitty life decisions. And let me tell you, straight up, that is not a way to live. That is not a way to run your life. You cannot spend your entire life looking for people to justify living a mediocre life. That isn't the way to go. Paige says, how can I know who can receive my message? Well, Paige, I think the only way to know who can receive your message is to bravely state it. Right? Is to share your message authentically and powerfully in an open way, right? And Paige, the people who are meant to receive it will be drawn to you, and the people who aren't won't. And I think that's like it's kind of physics, right? When you share your message, like when I share my message, the people that resonate with it, they come. What's up, David Root? How's it going, Liz Childs? And the people that aren't meant to do it will go away, right? But the danger with when we're living in our ego is we're going to attract other people who are living in their ego, and everybody starts creating this continuum and this paradigm of settling, of compromise, of copping out, of selling out on each other, of patting each other on the back, of letting each other off the hook. And then guess what? You have an entire group of stagnant people who are not making a difference in the world, and all they're doing is making each other feel better about being lazy and selfish and not doing it, guys. And this happens everywhere. This happens in business. This happens in social situations. This happens in dating. People, that's a danger. I think that's a really big danger in business especially, is we will have a tendency, if we're in a business and we have a lot of insecurities in our business, or you know somebody who's got a lot of insecurities in their business, they will surround themselves with just yes men, right? Sycophants. People who just tell them, you're doing a great job, everything's amazing, and then guess what? That person never feels like there's anything that needs to change in their business. And then you know what? Their business doesn't grow. Their business doesn't evolve. Their business doesn't scale the way that it could, because instead of surrounding themselves with people who could challenge them and take them on and give them feedback and support them in seeing where the gaps are and growing, they surround themselves with people who make them feel good. In a lot of ways, guys, living in an ego echo chamber is just cultivating a comfort zone outside of yourself of other people. You know what I'm saying? Liz says it happens in therapy. How does that happen in therapy, Liz? Tell me some more about that. So guys, we talk a lot about the danger of our internal comfort zone, right? The comfort zone of all the things, of only, doing the things we want to do, the things that feel good within us. Well, I think, guys, when we're living in an egoic echo chamber, that's all basically crafting a social comfort zone of only people who make us feel good, who make us feel comfortable, and who let us off the hook for living in our ego. And it's up to us to identify that and say, you know what? It's not that I don't want to be around people who make me feel good. I want to be around people who make me feel good, but I also want to be around people who I can trust to call me out, who I can trust that they have my best interests at heart, right? I want to surround myself with people who are always seeing me in my highest possibility and holding me to that and standing for me to achieve that and create that. That's breaking out of an echo chamber. When I'm talking to somebody, I don't want to necessarily just hear my own words get bounced back to me. I want to hear somebody give me their opinion. I want someone to be able to hold their own frame and tell me an opinion that might be different than mine, so maybe I can expand my perspective. I've talked about this before, guys, but I think that an elevation of consciousness is just an expansion of being able to understand and appreciate more perspectives. So one of the greatest ways we can elevate our consciousness is to surround ourselves with people who are different than us, right? Who can help us show and understand other perspectives so that we can broaden our understanding of people. You want to help more people, you got to understand more people. And the only way to understand more people is to start to get those different viewpoints in your life, right? So don't be around people who have a crab in the bucket syndrome. Surround yourself with people who you love them, but they're willing to challenge you. They're willing to stand for you. They're willing to tell you an opinion that might not be directly in alignment with what it is that you have to say. What's up, Carl Strainer? Good to see you, my friend. Liz Child says, if they get stuck and I don't make a stand for them, they stay stuck. They just want to complain. I lovingly And Liz, and that's the thing, isn't it interesting how and I guarantee you that it's so important for them to have you as a therapist, because when they go home, they're surrounded by people who just let them off the hook, right? So often our families and our friends and the people closest to us, they are those people. Hey, Aaron Whip, good to see you, my dear. We gotta be so careful, guys, because when we allow our friendships and our social circles to be created by default, to be created by ego, to be created by our comfort zone, we're just going to surround ourselves with sycophants. We're going to surround ourselves with yes men. We're going to surround ourselves with people who are not going to stand for our higher self. You want to be around people who have different viewpoints. You want to have friends who have the courage to take you on. You want to bring in people into your business who are smarter than you, people who threaten you, people who challenge you, right? I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room in my business. And that's a quote. If you're the smartest person in your circle of friends, if you're the most successful person in your circle of friends, it's time to find a new circle of friends. You always want to be around people who are aspiring and evoking you to a higher level. Right? I think that's a really critical thing to connect to, guys, is that rather than being a crab in the bucket where everybody's trying to keep you down at their level so that they can feel better about the decisions they're making or not making in their lives, consciously focus on finding people who are one or two steps above where you're at and where you want to be, so that you can get around them and get inspired and around what's possible, and get inspired and evoked to try to get out of your comfort zone and find that higher level. You want to be around people not who reinforce your comfort zone but who inspire you to pull up out of your comfort zone and do new things, try bigger things, play a bigger game, right? Just as Liz says, I'd rather have people challenge and chance pissing me off than just people please. The disease to please. I love it. I love that, Liz. People pleasing is a disease. It truly, truly is. It's something I have fought with my entire life. I have fought with people pleasing my entire life, and I probably will continue to, because it's deeply baked into me. I love making other people happy. But here's the thing, guys. You cannot make other people happy at your own expense. You can't do that in relationships. You can't do that in business. You cannot sacrifice yourself for the sake of other people. If you do that, you will end up burnt out, you will end up resentful, you will end up jaded, and it will not work out for you in the long term. Aleph says, how could we handle them? Now, Aleph, how could we handle who? We've talked about a lot of different kinds of people. When you say how could we handle them, do you mean how could we handle people who are in an egoic echo chamber? Like if you surrounded yourself with people who are just telling you what you want to hear, then I invite you, before you just dismiss them out of your life, to call them out and really ask them a deeper question, guys. And I think that's one way you can people who have ego. Well, Aleph, we all have ego. Ego is not a bad, and this is another important point, guys, to recognize, is that ego is not a bad thing. We all have an ego, and our ego is our sense of our individuality, okay? Having an ego is not a bad thing. Right? But here's the scary part is we just have to be careful about letting our ego dictate our lives and being obsessed with how we're different from other people and allowing our egoic sense of who we are to stop us from becoming who we could be. Right? Our ego wants to diffuse and reduce and knock out our possibility of who we are possible of becoming. Right? So that's why we want to be in recognition and ownership of our egoic self, but also be continually pushing out of that into something greater, into something more, into something different. It's a balancing act, right? And when we find ourselves, and so when you're surrounding, so as Liz, what did Liz say here? Liz said, you lovingly tell them your experience of them and hold them as being able to do and be better. Absolutely, Liz, I completely agree with that. When you come across people who are deeply in their ego, then really, here's the thing, and this is an important, because I have a lot of experience with this. You cannot force somebody out of their ego. If you try to give somebody like really interruptive feedback and you try to be like, yo, you're full of shit to somebody who's deeply in their ego, guess what's going to happen? They are going to get super reactive. They're going to get incredibly defensive. They are going to go on the attack. And it is going to degenerate into a very unpleasant situation. Okay, so you got to be careful in dealing with people who are living deeply from their ego, because these people tend to be very sensitive and very insecure. And if you do anything to threaten their very tightly held identity of who they are, they're going to attack you for that, right? So I think one of the most powerful ways you can be a demonstration of change to a person who's in their ego is by showing them what's possible when you don't act from ego, right? By giving them asking them big good questions, right? Ask them big questions about, okay, I understand that that's where you're at right now. I understand that this is who you are, but what if you could be something more? What would that look like? Like, just get them starting to talk about it. Get them starting to think about it. Be like, what if there was something more possible for you than who you are right now or what you're doing right now? Let them tell you. If you try to tell somebody who's in their ego what's possible for them, they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself. So it's always a tightrope. There's when you're dealing with ego, both with yourself and with other people, there's always this like tightrope, right? Of like, you want to be able to go and you have to navigate somebody's ego, because the ego is one of those funny things where if you just try to attack it front dead on, both your own or that of somebody else, it just degenerates into a war. And egos love to be attacked, because then it gives them the fuel that they need to sort of like lock down and sort of go into just like war mode, okay? Like, egos love to be at war because war is the ultimate space of division. And egos feed off of division and separateness and difference, right? And is there any greater source of separateness and division than war? There isn't, right? I think there's no greater example of humanity in its deepest egoic state than when one group of people who believe that they are one thing and another group of people who believe they are another thing decide that they're going to try to kill each other because I'm right and you're wrong. That is the ultimate distillation of egoic, of operating from a space of ego, right? So it's never the answer, guys, when we're dealing with egoic stuff, both with ourselves or with other people, to attack. Because it just doesn't work. It fuels the fire. It fuels the division that's at the root of egoic life. As Liz says here, beautifully put, allow the ego to keep you safe, survival, but not limit or hold you back. And that's what the ego does. It's very tricky. The ego will try to convince you that in order to be safe, you have to hide. You have to play it. You have to play very small, right? That's what the ego tries to confuse us into thinking that in order for us to be safe, we have to not grow. But that's just a survival mechanism, right? Because if you grow, if you expand, a part of your ego has to die, right? That part that's attached to that old you. And so it truly is a fight for survival, which is why we encounter so much resistance anytime we want to push out of who we understand and know ourselves to be. Liz says defensiveness shows you where the wounds are and how to heal it. It sucks, but if it lands, grow through it. Exactly, guys. So when you hit a nerve with somebody, guys, a lot of times they're going to get very defensive. They're going to get very defensive. They're going to lash out at you. And if that happens with somebody in your life, especially if you start taking, if you can recognize, guys, that you're in an egoic echo chamber and you start kind of like talking to people and taking them on a little bit, when somebody gets defensive with you, when somebody starts to like come at you, it's very important for you to recognize that that's not about you and that you shouldn't take it personally. You shouldn't take it personally when you kind of like call somebody out on their bullshit and they proceed by just being like, no, fuck you. And they take you on, right? We have a tendency, guys, and again, this is another example of when we always have a choice, right? On whether we want to respond or react. So when someone gets defensive and they start coming at you, you get to recognize that you have hit a wound you've touched on a wound for them, right? They are reacting to that. They are trying to protect that pain. And you, if you're operating from a space of emotional intelligence, you get to experience their anger, experience their defensiveness, and just not allow yourself to take it personally, and then choose to respond in an emotionally intelligent way, right? Hold space for them to do their thing, and then respond in a mature, constructive way, right? That's such a better thing, because the opposite is what? The alternative is what? They react with anger to what you're saying, and then you respond with anger to what they're saying, and then it's just this escalating pissing contest that just becomes this toxic loop, this toxic escalating paradigm that is really, really destructive for everybody. Oh, Liz says she just loves me. You have inspired me day one that I met you in ALA. Thank you. Oh, Liz, thank you so much. That means so much to me. And I'm telling you, I love you so much, Liz, and I'm so proud of you for really living this work out there. Because, guys, I mean, that's the thing. I talk about this stuff all day, but here's the thing. We can't just talk about it. Oh, Erin says she did that this week. Erin, tell us more. How did you do that? How did this show up in your life? How did this show up in your life? Please tell us more. So guys, the MAT challenge, by the way, for this week, the MAT challenge is to look at the people around you, look at the people at your work, look at the people at your personal life, and ask yourself, are the people around me, or are the people around other people in my work, are there echo chambers that have been created? Are there whole groups of people who are just crabs in the bucket, keeping each other down, telling each other what they want to hear, stagnating and stopping each other from growing, just because they all want to feel comfortable and feel good? And then who do you get to be to interrupt that in a loving, empowered, grounded way? Because that's the thing, guys. If one of us is in stagnation, all of us are in stagnation. If somebody is in an echo chamber and it is paralyzing their growth and their expansion as a being, then that's happening to us too. We get to, as leaders, we get to take responsibility and ownership over the growth and evolution of all those around us. I know, that's a big thing, but truly, guys, like, we get to take ownership of the fact that if it's happening to one of our people, it's happening to us. and who do I get to be and how do I get to be in the world to create shift in that situation? How can I empower this person to make shift happen in their own lives? Truly. Like Aleph says, people who have ego in a bossy way manage others in a terribly negative way in life. They wish to control them, but unfortunately cannot. Yeah, because the people that are operating from ego, a lot of times they're operating from fear and insecurity. And so that desire to control is coming from fear and insecurity and inauthenticity and a lot of shame, right? And when someone in a management situation is operating from that space, it trickles down through the whole company, doesn't it? Isn't it interesting? You can just walk into a business, and if you talk to the person at the front counter, and within 10 seconds of talking to that person at the front counter, you have a pretty good idea, right? How the boss is, how management is, how it goes, because it goes all the way up the chain, right? If the boss is amazing, if the owner is amazing, it goes down through everybody, down to the person mopping the floors. And vice versa. So guys, I mean, that's the thing. Like our egos, if we allow our egos to dictate the people we hang out with, the choices we make, and the circles in which we choose to run, our egos are going to handpick people and paradigms and social groups that are designed to keep us static, to keep us stagnant. That's the danger, because there is no greater behavior, and this is a really interesting principle from a movie called Thrive that I highly recommend y'all watch. That the greatest form of behavioral control that exists in our world, the greatest form of behavioral control is nothing that happens within us. It isn't any sort of brainwashing that happens within us. It's the cultural standards of the people around us. It's the societal norms of the people around us and their opinions about who we are and what we do. That's the greatest form of mind control and behavior control that exists in the world today. It isn't the government. It isn't the laws that we have. It's what people decide is normal. And then we are paranoid about not being seen as normal by the people around us. So it's very easy, guys. So if you're finding yourself being excessively fixated on the opinions of other people, and because of that, you're holding yourself back, you're playing small, you're swallowing your voice, you're being super outcome dependent on your interactions with other people and their opinions of you, you have given your power away. You're operating from an egoic space. You got to be so careful about that, guys. If you are in an egoic echo chamber, you got to get out. You got to recognize it. You got to figure out that you're not in alignment with it, and you get to walk away from that. And you get to find people who challenge you. Find people who give you different viewpoints. Find people that are 1 or 2 steps beyond where you're at in the direction that you want to go, in a direction that's in alignment with your vision. That's what we're looking for, guys. That's what we're looking for. The people that you surround yourself with will shape your destiny. They'll shape the trajectory of your life. Give me a 1 if this resonates with you guys. Give me a 1 if this makes sense. As Liz says, I tell my patients all the time, let go or get dragged. Control is an illusion, and it's like attempting to hold water with a sieve. It is, guys. You cannot control what anybody else thinks about you. Nor do you want to. What other people think about you is none of your business. It's not. The only person's opinion of you that matters is yours. Your opinion of yourself is the only opinion that matters. And you get to surround yourself with people who honor that, who honor the fact that you are unapologetically who you are. And they love you for that. They love you for being yourself. That's it. Bottom line on this whole thing. Do not be surrounded by people who tell you what you want to hear, who let you off the hook, who validate your bad decisions, your self-destructive behavior, your self-sabotaging behavior. True friends will call you out on your shit. True friends will stand for your highest possibility. You want people to see your highest possible self, not the person you were 5 years ago. Not the person you were 10 years ago. Liz is saying, you got to learn to love feedback. Damn right, Liz. And if you got people in your life that can't handle feedback, then those people get to have a limited role in your life, right? We can't allow ourselves to be in relationships that are being continually dictated by the sensitivities of other people's egos. We can't. Because then we're going to spend way too much time walking on eggshells with other people, guys. We get to live in a world where we are surrounded by people who are empowering us, holding us up, standing for our highest possibility, and celebrating our wins, and supporting us and helping us when we suffer. That's it. A lot of times people who are in ego are going to like secretly, they like it when you fail because it makes them feel better about their own failures. Those aren't the kind of people we need in our lives, guys. Truly. Melissa's in. Pistachio's in. It's hard to say that with a straight face. Liz is in. Heck yeah, I know Megan McKeel's in. Guys, so this is what I invite you and implore you to do this week. Look at your life. Look at your professional life. Look at your personal life and ask yourself, am I living in an echo chamber? Are there people in my world who are telling me what I want to hear, who are holding me back, who are seeing me as I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Are there people in my life who are an external manifestation of my internal comfort zone? And what would it look like if I were able to stand for a different world? If I were able to stand for different people around me? If I were able to stand up to those people and tell them, hey, this isn't who I am anymore. Right? Because here's the thing. If these people are really your friends, they're going to recognize it, and they're looking at you as that drunk maybe you were 5 years ago, or that womanizer you were 10 years ago, or whoever you were, that lazy person you were 3 years ago. I don't know. If you're able to look that person in the eye and tell them with love, listen, I understand this is who you think that I am, and maybe that's who I was back then, or that's who I was being back then. But the person I am now, the person I'm committed to being moving forward in my life, isn't that person. The person I'm committed to being is a light in the world, is operating from a space of integrity, is working hard, is operating from a place of passion and heart-centeredness, right? Is a fucking leader. If you're able to stand and courageously show that to these people, and they're able to look at you and say, you know what? Thank you for sharing that with me. I support you in who you want to be, not who you've been in the past. Then that person's a true friend. A true friend will evolve with you. Does that make sense? A true friend will grow with you, will expand with you, will hold space for you to become a different person than they know you to be. For all the true friends in my life, all the people that I deeply love and respect in my life, I'm always open to them telling me whatever. And I've let all my best friends know that they can tell me anything, and I will respond without judgment. I will. Right? Because I am always open to possibility with the people in my life, right? So whoever the people are in your life, tell them who you're committed to being moving forward. And if they respond with encouragement and acceptance of that, then they are truly your friends and they are constructive and healthy people in your life. If they say, fuck that, that's weird, what's wrong with you? If they say, what's wrong with you? Then they're very attached to that person you used to be, and those people they're not constructive for you anymore. And you got to really ask yourself, is this person the sort of person that I want in my life? If they're looking at you and thinking that the person you want to be is wrong, then that's dangerous. Because they're attached to who you used to be. And because they're attached to who you used to be, anytime you deviate from who you used to be, they're going to punish you for that, right? True friends are going to be accepting and constructive and expansive and dynamic, and they're going to grow with you, and they're going to want to expand with you. They're going to be inspired by your commitment, and they're going to want to come with you on that journey. Or at the very least, they're going to honor your right to do it. They don't necessarily have to come with you. Maybe they're comfortable where they're at. But for the love of God, they at least have to be okay and honor your commitment to be something more, to be something different, to be something greater, right? They don't have to come with you. if they don't want to, if that's not their place. And that's the thing, guys. We can't make people go on the journey with us. We can't. But we can always find new people who are committed to going on the journey. What's up, Ross Jeffries? How you doing, buddy? Kamal Badarek, good to see you. Give me a one, guys. Guys, if any of this is resonating with you, please share this show. I love getting this show out to as many people as possible. I love getting this information out to all the humans, or as many humans as I possibly can. So, guys, I just look at just to wrap this up and to come full circle. Look at your life. Look at the echo chambers you've created with your friends, with the people at your work. Look at the gossip mills you've got going on in your life somewhere. Look at the people who are looking at you as the person you used to be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you've been okay with that. You've condoned that. Hell, you've played into that because it's easy, because it's comfortable, because it's nostalgic. And really ask yourself, is that who I want to be anymore? Am I willing to sacrifice the person who I'm becoming to try to pretend and cling to the person I used to be? Am I willing to pay that price? Because that's what happens when we allow ourselves to live in an echo chamber. We sacrifice who we could be. We sacrifice what's possible for the sake of who we were. And that's a tragedy. Because that's the thing, guys. There is no guarantee that you're going to become your highest possibility. There isn't. It's up to you to do the work. It's up to you to stand for that every day. It's up to you to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what? I choose to step into my highest possibility one step at a time. One day at a time, by the decisions that I make and by the people that I surround myself with. It's an incremental process, guys. But you can short circuit the whole fucking thing by surrounding yourself with people who are cool with who you are or who you were in the past. Or just make it a lot harder. It's a lot harder to move forward when everybody around you is looking at you like you're crazy. Seth says, came because my friends are watching, stayed for those baby blues. Oh, Seth, you're so sweet. So yeah, guys, really ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it to be comfortable? Is it worth it to sacrifice who you are, who you're capable of being, just to be comfortable? Melissa, I love this, Melissa. Melissa, my client, says it gets a little easier each time. And it does, guys. Every time you cut ties with an echo chamber, every time you walk away from a relationship or a paradigm that's just a continuation of an old pattern, every time you pivot into a new reality, into a new paradigm, into a new version of yourself, into a new set of values that's more in alignment with who you are, every time you grow and expand and break through to a new level, it gets a little easier. It's just really hard in the beginning. It never gets easy. I'll tell you, it's still hard for me. I still wake up and I'm like, am I out of my mind? Why do I keep doing this? But I'm really grateful that I keep doing it, because by now it's like I'm too far down the road, right? Like I could never go back, right? Like my old ego echo chambers are gone. Those old people are gone. Those old self-destructive patterns no longer exist for me. I'd have to build new ones. That would be way too much work. I don't have the time or the energy to build new self-destructive patterns. Come on. Anyhow, guys, I'm just rambling at this point. But guys, I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mondays with Maxwell Winchester. What's up, buddy? My fellow Dallas neighbor here. Me and you gotta go get a drink here one of these days, buddy. Hit me up. Let's make that happen. Thank you for watching Mondays with Matt. I'm so grateful. Melissa, Max, Seth, Nydia, Liz, Ross, Kamal, Alev, everybody who's been watching, guys, I'm so grateful for you guys. Please share this video. Let's get this out to as many humans as possible. And guys, I'm so grateful for all of you. I hope you go out there and you recognize the echo chambers and the destructive circles that you may have created in your life. You recognize them and you're able to courageously step out of them, because that will transform your whole life. I guarantee it. All right, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Get out there, make some shift happen out there in the world, and I will see y'all next week on Mondays with Matt. Lots of love, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.